Welcome to the Empowerment Show, a weekly podcast call-in show that's here to enrich and educate the community of beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania and its surrounding areas. Hosted by Kendall Stevenson.
We represent the opinions of Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.com, Genesis Radio's owners, management, or affiliates.
Good evening. My name is Kendall. I'm your host, Unity in the Community, the Empowerment Show on GenesisRadio.com. We can be reached at 888-304-4401. This evening, we will be talking about holistic medicine and how we have two coaches on that can really explain to you how holistic medicines and the practice of holistic medicine can also change your life, your lifestyle, your spirit, your soul. And these two young ladies are here to enlighten you. First, we have Miss Karen Pascal. Hello, Karen. How are you?
Hi, Kendall. How are you doing?
And how are you, Miss Williams, Joan?
Very well, thank you. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing well. So, you ladies are into a holistic coaching, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that the title for both, or just one and the other one has another title?
No, both of us is holistic.
Okay. So, what is holistic, and how can it help me or the people that decided they want to go that route?
Living a holistic lifestyle is the whole. Your mind, your body, your soul. It's all areas of your life. And myself and Joan, we coach from the 12 components. That is your finances, your creativity, your social life, your education, your joy, your home environment, your relationship. All of those things make up the whole. We can't run away from none of them. So we coach from those and we help someone to understand that these areas, we have to address them. How is the relationship with yourself? How is the relationship with money? Many times we try to escape a lot of things.
Right.
And when we try to escape, it causes a lot of problems within our lives and within our body. Right,
Right.
Joan?
Exactly. The thing is, uh, it's living on and off the plate. Because yes, we can focus on the plate and eat all the kale and all the right foods. But what about the other aspect of our lives, which is also a key component for ourselves? And when we focus on what is on the plate and we can put also in that a level of alignment, as Karen spoke about finances, creativity, spirituality, physical activity, and that stuff, all that stuff. But we move into the level of alignment because if anything is out of balance, you don't feel good.
This is
Because the goal is to embrace who you are and live your fullness, your greatness. You want to live life with your best self. And living your best self is all those areas that we have to focus on.
so. This is
Living
what you
in
do.
and on off the plate.
This is what you do. You help people live their best life, if you want to say.
Yes.
So, how about a person if they come to you new? What do you do for them? What do you tell them? How do you get them to come along to what you want to offer them?
When a client come to us, the first thing we give to them is a health history form. You fill out a health history form so we can see the areas of your life that needs to be addressed. And we also work with the wheel of life, which is the 12 components, and we give you a diagram that you can normally just put a dot, like how is your relationship? And on a scale of 1 to 10, you will put a dot on that diagram, and so we'll know exactly if it's halfway, if it's more in the middle, or if it's out. If your relationship is great with yourself, your relationship is great with someone else. So that's our guideline, that's our roadmap that we're going to start to work with that individual. So when they put the dots on that diagram, we can able to see exactly where you at, and then we start to work along with you on the with the areas that you really want to improve in your life. Right, Joan?
Yeah. And then when you come in, we create an environment for you and talk to you about the goals. And we coach out of the smart goals. Because the first thing you have to know that you have to be very specific.
Hmm.
Your intention. What is it you're looking for? What is it you tried before and didn't work? And you come to us so we can offer you something different, which can help you and providing you with that roadmap. So that is why, as Karen rightly said, we reach you from where you at, whatever level you're at. It's okay. You come along and we start with you with a smart goal, being very specific what you want, what is achievable, what is relevant. And then we have a time frame that we're going to you got to be real, because we have to have a time that we're going to say, okay, this is what we're projecting forward to, and help you to envision what would it look like. What is it you're trying to achieve? And you describe to us, because you've got the answers really. We're just going to draw it out of you. What would it look like? What is ever your desires are to be feel fulfilled? And what kind of life you want to live coming into this coaching session? You
Let me,
have the answer.
I'm sorry, let me just ask you guys as a question came to mind. A person with drug addiction, how would you help that person out? Because that person is going to be somewhat resentful. He's going to want what you want to give him, what you have to offer, but he may become resentful too. How do you deal with a person like that, a client like that?
Baby steps.
Mhm.
Baby steps. Show them love and compassion. And that our goal really is to help you, because we love and care for you as a human being, as an individual. And so we can offer you something that will help to change your trajectory and help you to live your best self, because it's all about live. I think we all can agree. We all want to live our best.
Mhm.
We all want to show up in the world and feeling good, feeling great, and shine and bring that light that is within us. Right?
And great question, Kendall. Many times you find that an individual turn to something because something is lacking in their lives,
Mhm.
right? So we try to find out exactly the why that individual turned to substance
Mm-hmm.
abuse, a substance, to help them to really go. It's like you're running away from something
Mm-hmm.
that is there and you're trying to avoid. So we try to dive to that spot to
Mhm.
see exactly why is that person using a substance, because there is a void that they're trying to fill, right? So we try to go to that area and then we start to work with that individual from there. You ask the question also, if that person is kind of a little bit of resistance, we try to open a space
Mm-hmm.
for an individual to make them feel comfortable. So when you come to us for coaching, we give you that space that you could articulate with yourself, because all the answers are within you. So we give you that space so you could able to look within your own life to see exactly what's happening with you. So
Yeah, I
as
was
the
asking
as
my question because I wanted to know if you guys coordinate with any like um, drug rehabilitation centers or in any type of that type of arena. Are you guys in that arena? Have you had any experience yet in that type of arena?
we are looking to get
Yeah,
into that arena.
we're projecting one. That's
Yes.
one of our goals. But is that's a great question. And what the thing is, we would try to talk to you as well. Who are the kind of people you're surrounding yourself with?
Right.
Because that is a very big influence. Because who you surround yourself with, that is who you become.
Hmm.
And that's who you are.
All right. Again, like if somebody comes to you again, I know I gave you the one about the drugs and the drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes to you with, let's say, a disease, some sort of illness. How do you
Mm-hmm.
approach them? What do you do for them? And do you use any type of medication? I mean, because if a guy's on drugs, is a lot they medicate him for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you handle that if you're not going to use conventional medicine?
No, we don't prescribe anything for them. We always advise them. We guide them to the doctor, or in a holistic, like a herbalist, or in who is in that arena, and that can help them to give them advice. But what we do advise people to do is look at yourself, go inward,
Hmm.
and reach to the core space of yourself. And sometimes when life, so many things are happening with you, pause, pause, sit with yourself, pause, make that communication, whatever spiritual practice your belief might be,
Right.
whether God will, whatever, make that level of connection, because we all can say and know that there is something bigger than ourselves. And whatever that is that you believe might be, connect with that. Pause, look at yourself, watch yourself talk, watch how you talk to yourself, and remind yourself that you are good enough. Remind yourself that you are worthy and you're special.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely right. Because many times you find that we are not getting to the root of the whole cause.
Mhm.
We're just touching the surface. And you really got to get to the root of why this individual is doing what they are doing. There is a reason. There is a reason.
Of course.
Sometimes that person went through trauma,
Limited
right?
belief.
Right.
Limiting belief system.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes you never know that child, that person was abused in the childhood days. It's so much of things that leads.
It's a lot.
It leads to that. So the best advice we also give to an individual too is that you could either see a therapist,
Mhm.
Right.
right, to help you in that area, or you could see a functional medicine doctor who can also help you in that area also, right, and help you with a herbal medicine, or take you to the herbal way.
Right.
But we just give you that safe space where you can able to bring things to the surface that was being overlooked. We help you to bring things up to the surface, and then you can start addressing them one by one.
We support you on your journey.
Yeah.
We
So
support you. We hold your hand and support you through that.
correct. So what you guys mostly deal with is the mind and the spirit, if you want to say, of an
Yeah.
individual. Not so much the physical aspect, like a person who's got cancer. But do you subscribe anything to a person that may have?
No,
Sorry, prescribe. You prescribe anything to a person, and you guys don't deal with any herbal medicine at all.
no,
No.
no.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, good. So mostly it's a mindful what you use your
Yes,
practice
yes,
in your
yes,
coaching
yes,
practices. It's very mindful. You try to be very mindful.
yes, yes. And some of the things we talk about as well is your environment, environment internally and externally.
Hmm.
You know, what are some of the things that you're holding on to that you can't let go? Because as you continue to hold on to whatever it is and you're not letting it go, you're not making room to receive new things to come for you.
Correct.
And also your external environment, if you have so much clutter around you and not living in a space that you can navigate easily, that also weighs you down as well as an individual. So we focus a lot on that. We focus a lot about nice to prepare a meal at home in home cooking. So
Hmm.
you can able to enjoy all those great nutrition when you prepare your own meal because you know how it is being prepared, and then you can make choices. We talk to you about choices going in the supermarket, the right kind of food you choose, your fruits and your veggies and those kind of stuff. We can advise you. Make sure that you read your labels because that is very important, because what you put in. And that is why we wrote the book, Your Gut and You, because focusing a lot on your microbiome, which is your ecosystem within, and how you feed yourself, how you nourish yourself, and the kind of food that you take in is so important.
Can you
Because
tell
then it's when,
me the book again? I'm sorry. Can so everybody can know what the name of the book was?
oh, your gut and you,
It's I'm sorry.
your gut and you,
Your gut and you.
your gut, yes, your gut, your microbiome.
Okay. I'm sorry. You can continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, no, no. We're just having a beautiful conversation. Yeah.
Because many times you find people are missing things in their life.
Mhm.
you know it could be they're missing or their relationship with someone, you
Mhm.
know and because of that you find that people start to binge eat. you know People start to turn to other to a substance. So we just go in with an individual and just able to zoom into that person and to find the area in that person's life
Mhm.
and start to work with that individual on the areas in the life
All right.
and help them and provide them, because they already have the roadmap, but we are just helping them to bring it out.
Mhm.
It sounds like you help a lot of people that have a lower self-esteem,
Yes.
or people like a person who's a hoarder. How
Mhm.
would you help that person out? Someone who just clutters and hoards everything.
We The first thing we will tell that individual we will walk them through feng shui, right? We walk them through feng shui and help them to understand the importance of the environment that you're living in. And once we start to work with them, we help them to understand what is feng shui. It left to condemn now because it's all you. We can only take you on to a certain point, but it starts with you.
Mhm.
You have to make that decision, that conscious decision that you want to make that change in your life.
Right.
So we work along with you. You let us know, and we start to work with you. The things, then, for instance, like if there are things that you have in your home that you're not using, we'll
Right.
advise you donate it to charity or give it to someone who can make uses of it.
Right.
So that is how we normally do go around that area. Yes.
And the thing is that the beauty about it that when you can take whatever you're not using in your closet or whatever is it you're offering, you're giving away. It's a beauty in that because there is a joy. Because when you give the person, you can see the joy on their faces when they can say thank you. Oh my God, you know how they feel so good, and so it's reciprocated because you also receive the joy. They receive the joy as well. So there was a lot of beauty in that.
Sounds like karma. What you put out comes back to you. You know,
Yes.
they have a commercial on TV. I don't know if you ever seen it, Terry. It's an old guy. Well, it's a bunch of people who are aging, and they start to act like their mothers and their parents. And
Yeah.
then the guy is there telling them, "Don't do this. You don't have to do that. Don't stay." That's kind of
Yeah, I saw that commercial.
it. Just kind of
Mhm.
reminds me of what they do is like when they're coaching you, they're telling you, "Okay, don't do this. You can donate this to charity." Yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of like you have to tell people step by step in order what to do and how to do it.
Yes.
That-
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
We hold your hand and we guide you through the process, and we remind you that it's okay. Some people move faster, some move a little, take a little bit of time. And
Mhm.
so it's in small increments because sometimes holding on to a lot of stuff when you feel good about it and it means something to you. There's a lot of sentimental value
Right.
in whatever it is that you're trying to hold on to. But we guide you along the process that it's okay because if it's not serving you, let it go with love because it's going to find a next beautiful home. And we help you through that process and support you through that process
Mhm.
and help you to understand what you're doing now. You're making space for new things to come, new blessing, so you can flourish more.
Just want to ask you ladies a question. How did you get into what you're doing?
Ah,
That's
great question.
Ve- that's a great question. The thing is that we in the beginning we focus on end of life care, which we still do sometimes, but then we sit and talk about it, and we think that we can help people on a broader level because focusing on end of life care is just like one on one. But then we feel into ourselves that we feel have a calling to serve the masses and move more. So we went back to school at IAN and did this, and this whole thing just blossomed in a beautiful way.
Mhm. So you had to get certified to do what you do.
Yes, we had
Yes.
to. We attended IAN in New York City.
Okay, great. So how do you keep up with the latest research on what you do?
Well, from time to time, IN will continue, give us resources,
Hmm.
keep us informed, what's new, and that is how we continue to stay abreast with everything that is happening around the world. Yeah.
Help us to stay on the cutting edge.
Yep.
Okay.
So we always being updated with what's new, and so we can also have more information to help our clients on their journey, and that they can embrace themselves and live their level of excellence.
Do you have to constantly go back to school to be like recertified or anything like that?
No, but we take more courses.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
Hmm.
All right. So how do you handle, let's say, a situation where a client, they've already come to see you, you
Hmm.
laid out a plan for them, and they're trying to follow the plan through, but they don't see it working for them. What do you do at that point?
The first thing we do, we ask them, what can we do to help you to
Hmm.
change? If something is not working, you can change it up. You're entitled to change things up.
Hmm.
So we going back, we had sit down, we have a discussion with the client, and we would ask them, what are some of the things you would like to change in your life now?
Hmm.
because sometimes you start off with something and it's not working. So you're entitled, you could change things up. There is no need for you to beat yourself up. You can change whatever is the goal that you had set there.
All right.
You can change it. You can change that goal now.
And the thing is, to add another layer, we continue to support you. You come and you pay the visits with us, and if you're doing a month or 2 months or 3 months program, you join with us. We continue to support you daily. You have updates, emails from us. We give you a text message, just remind you how are you doing, how are you working along with the project that you were given to do, and so there's a constant support, whether it's an email, whether it's a text message. We have a whole variety of email series that we share with the client, whatever specific area they're looking for help and guidance. I and the same school we attended to give us a whole email series that we can support you along that journey. So you're constantly being supported. We don't leave you like that. Constantly, and even if when the time you conclude the sessions with us, you can always come back if you sign out. But there is
Yes.
always room. We leave room for you that look. If you feel that you're struggling again, we welcome you with open arms. So we give you that constant support and love and show you compassion that you can walk in grace and happiness in your lifestyle.
So let me ask you: do you think that food, what we consume, it plays a role in how we think and how we feel?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. Thanks for that question.
And can you
Definitely.
elaborate? Tell me how does it do that? I mean, if I go out and eat a bunch of sugar or the things that people say you shouldn't eat, then how does that affect me not only physically but mentally and maybe emotionally? How does it do that?
Oh,
As
yes.
Joan said before, our microbiome is our ecosystem, right?
Mhm.
And whatever you feed the microbiome, that's the results you're gonna get. If you eat junk, the microbiome will give you junk, right? And
Mhm.
when you eat junk, remember the microbiome, which is your gut, it's connected to your brain. So if your gut is not functioning properly, your brain is not going to function properly, right? So whatever you feed the microbiome, it would affect you mentally, physically.
Emotionally too.
So you got to be so careful what you're feeding yourself.
Mhm.
So an individual, if you're realizing you're feeling a certain way, check to see what you're eating. Keep a note or a journal or notepad or a journal every day that you eat something. Check and see the way how you're feeling. If you're feeling like a brain fog and all of these things are happening to you, check what you're eating, because your gut is connected to your brain.
Mhm.
Whatever you put into the gut, it's going to affect your brain and it's going to affect your thinking, it's going to affect your behavior. So you got to be so careful.
That's why sometimes you talk about brain fog and you feel fatigue and you feel tired and all these kind of things is because what we're eating, then you experience leaky gut. And all these things can happen because of the kind of food that we partake of. So make sure that you take your fruits, your veggies, and just watch what you eat, and that log that what you eat and how you feel. That is because that would be your guideline to know, well, when I eat this, this is how I feel. Don't make me feel good. And then when I eat this, this is how I feel. So once you can have that log that you do daily, then it gives you a guideline, and I maybe should stay away from that. And there is where you can seek your functional medicine if you're constantly not feeling well, and then you can take that log to your doctor, your functional medicine doctor, and then he can say, well, okay, this is the way you're feeling. Well, then these are the things that you can eliminate from your diet, and
Mhm.
then gradually work back in, and then you see, well, then you come into a plan what you should not do and what you should do.
Just as human beings, do you have any suggestions as to maybe what we should not eat as human beings? Because
Sugars is a bad is a tough one.
right.
And a little trick with sugars, if you have that craving, because most time those cravings come because the same thing we earlier in the discussion we talk about is that something is lacking, that is why you're craving in this area. So a good trick which I think we can share too is like sweet potato, because if you have a sweet tooth, as people would call it, do a bunch of sweet potatoes. Maybe you can make some sweet potato chips, do a good that, so when you feel that urge or that desire to binge on sweets,
It-
instead of reaching for that, you can use some sweet potato.
Or even a fruit.
A
Instead
fruit.
of fruit, you reach for a fruit, like a banana or an apple.
Mm-hmm.
You reach for a fruit instead.
Karen, my wife, that's probably one of her favorites is that sweet potato. She loves
Oh,
them.
good.
Candy yams. Yeah, she likes them. She
Good. That's beautiful.
Great.
a little bit of brown sugar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, I went off into another area. I'm sorry about
No, that's okay.
that. Yeah, it's all good. It's all
It's
good.
all good.
hmm Yeah, okay. So, what do you think about? Because I know you guys say that you deal with the spirit, the mind, and so forth, and this is a matter of
Mm-hmm.
do you incorporate meditation?
Yes.
Yes.
We're very big on that.
How about the
Very big on meditation.
physical, exercise?
Mm-hmm.
Physical exercise too. Yep. You
Okay.
got to move the body.
Yeah, you got to move the body. You got to
You
exercise
gotta
the
move.
body as well as the mind. So, what do you tell them to do? How to exercise the mind? What
To
exercise
exercise the
do you
mind.
Yeah, what exercises do you have? I mean, some people that, like you say, it's not always mental, and it's not always physical, and it's not always spiritual. So if I wanted to, let's say, practice or lift up or update my spiritual, I could go to church. You would advise me to go to church. But how about my mental? Well, how do you advise me how to, update, if you want to say, my mental?
It all depends on the individual because it's bio individuality. It depends upon the individual. What are you listening to,
Mm-hmm.
right? On a daily basis, what are you tuning in yourself to, right? Who are the people you're surrounding yourself with? Because all of these things affect you mentally and physically. Because when you wake up each day, you have to find a modality to really ground yourself.
Mhm.
You got to recharge your battery. What modality are you using to recharge yourself? Are you journaling? Are you grounding yourself? Are you finding that pause time, that silent time for yourself to recharge yourself, to
Mm,
sit with yourself, to
mm,
think, you know what? I don't really like how my life is going at this point in time. What can I do to change my life around?
mm,
So when you sit with yourself in silence, you're able to get a lot of answers that you're looking for. So you sit with yourself, you carve out that time because many people say, you know what, I got kids. If you could just get up like 10 minutes before your kids wake up and you could spend some time with yourself, that's called self-care.
mm,
You spend some time with yourself, you journal, and you're able to reflect upon your life and see exactly how your life is going. And if it's not going in the direction that you're looking for, you could make changes. You are allowed to make changes.
Of course you are.
Or you could reach out to a coach like myself and Joan,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
and we could able to guide you and to help you along the way so you could able to live your true essential self.
Because the thing is, it just like how we eat food and we feed ourselves. The question is, what are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your mind? Because that part need nourish as well. And as you rightly said, pouring into yourself, listen to some good music, whatever that is that you enjoy. And when you're in your kitchen cooking or whatever you're doing, dance around. You know, feed your mind, feed your soul. And another thing is service. Serve others, whether you go down to a shelter, whatever it is that you feel called to do,
All right.
serve others. Service is a very big important thing for us, and what that
Yes.
we ask people to do as well. Because when you serve, no matter how you might be feeling as a person, but when you serve others, there's a lot of beauty in that.
All right.
There's a lot of beauty in that. Because you make them feel good, you give them a kind word, and you feel good as well because you can see the beauty and see someone else shine and feel happy, smile, they say thank you. They feel blessed.
Got a good question for you. So you got a person that's he wants to meditate, and he decides to use, I don't know, legal medical cannabis. Would you recommend someone using cannabis as a way of meditating or relaxing themselves or relieving themselves of stress?
Using candles, you said?
No.
Oh, cannabis. Marijuana.
Oh no,
Weed.
we don't prescribe anybody to do that. They have to see the functional medicine doctor and
Mhm.
ask that question to that functional medicine doctor, and they will tell them if to do it or not. Because we don't know that person body makeup, right?
Right.
And sometimes you will say, okay, yes, okay, go and do that, but we don't know the effects
Right.
that could happen to an individual. So we would not tell a person to do something like that.
Mhm.
Let them check with a functional medicine doctor, and they would be able to advise them exactly if they should take or do not take it.
Well, if he's already using it, let's say you get a new client. He's a marijuana user, and he uses this marijuana, medical marijuana, for as a relief or a way to relieve stress. Would you take him on and continue, or you tell him to stop with the marijuana, or would you let him go ahead and continue if that helps him out?
Well, if that was prescribed, because once he using a medical, it had to be prescribed by someone.
Hmm.
So by his doctor, whoever he's seeing or whoever prescribed it for him. That on that level, it's his choice. But all we do for him or her who's coming to us, we support them, we nourish them in with love and all the things we talk about in social life, creativity, and whatever. Because whatever they're coming to us outside of what the practice is, then we will able to support them on their level. But where it comes to marijuana or cannabis or whatever that they're using, then that is between them and their doctor. But if it makes them feel good, then
Hmm.
the doctor advised that for them.
So you wouldn't have a problem if someone came to you, and but let's say they still had other issues. I don't know. They still need some other type of healing, but you wouldn't have an issue with them coming to you. You wouldn't turn them away.
No,
No, we work
no,
along with them.
no. But we will just focus on supporting that individual in the area that they need, which is
Right.
their mind, their body, and soul. And the things that we have listed and outlined in the early conversation. Because everybody's looking for something.
Right.
They're looking for love, they're looking for compassion, and just to support them and remind them that they are good enough. They are worthy. It's a human being. Everyone struggles at some point in time in their life. There's sometimes you're going through maybe a lot of challenges. As we talk about, you're coming from trauma,
Mm-hmm.
you're coming from limited belief, and you're trying to get ahead, and you just feel like I feel stuck.
Mm.
What can I do to get unstuck?
Mm.
And then we'll talk to you and we guide you through that same process if you want to try a little meditation or those things that you spoke about earlier. But our mission is just to help people,
Mhm.
support them,
Mhm.
and help them to live their true essential self.
Right.
Live
So,
your best,
yeah,
enjoy life.
right. We talked about the drugs and how would we help people with that, and we talked about
Mhm.
marijuana, and we gave advice about that. So you got a young lady, she comes to you, and she's been sexually abused,
Mhm.
and I mean, she is truly traumatized.
Right.
How do you help her? And
The
what advice?
first thing, go ahead, Kendall. Sorry.
Sorry, just and what advice would you give her?
The first thing that a person come to us like that, they got to see a therapist,
Mhm.
Right.
right? So we would work along with the therapist with that individual.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's a serious trauma. A lot of women go through a lot
Yes.
of traumas these days,
Right.
and just in general with the environment that we live in, it's very stressful.
Mhm.
We got a war going on here. We got a war
Right.
going
Right.
on over
Right.
there.
Right.
You got an election coming up next week, and I mean,
Right. Right.
it's
It's a
uh,
lot of stuff.
it's a lot of stress going on in this
Mhm.
environment. So what we try to do here is we try to build our community, to
Mhm.
form our community as
Yes.
to the things that are going on in our community and how we can address them and maybe possibly make some changes if we can. Just like
Right.
you young ladies are trying to do, you're trying to
Yes.
educate your
Thank
clients.
you.
Let me ask you, how do you feel yeah, about the sleep? Because that would be part of your environment, right?
That's a big one. Thank
Mhm.
you for asking and saying that. That's a very, very big one. Because a lot of people suffer from insomnia, sleep deprivation, and it don't make you feel good.
Mhm.
We're all overworked. We don't get enough rest. And so that play a major role because of that sleep, it created stress, it created diseases in your body. So we talk to people about that.
Mhm.
And we also talk to people about detoxing, not by drinking anything, but from our gadgets.
You have
We
gadgets?
talk
What
your
kind of-
heart, our phones and our computers and everything. We
Oh,
need
okay.
to just take some time out, create an early time for bed.
I suppose you got a
Right.
guy. He's got a family. He's got a couple of kids. He's working a full time job. He's also trying to go to school. That's on his plate too. And it seems like he's got a lot of stress going on. What kind of advice would you give a guy like that who really
The
doesn't
first
have time to take time off? Because he's got, like I said, he's working a full time job.
Mhm.
He's going to school, and he's taking care of his family full time.
the first thing we will say to that individual, you got to take care of your health.
Mhm.
Mhm,
Because for you, if you're not good for yourself, you
Mhm.
cannot good for
Nobody
no
else.
one else.
mhm,
So the first thing that individual really got to look into is their health. So you got to know when to stop, when to pull back, when to pause. That individual, you have to have a schedule.
You have to.
You have to have a schedule. You have to sit with your family and work out that schedule. When is it time for your kids? When is the time for your wife?
mhm.
When is it time for yourself? All of those things you have to sit and you got to work these things out with your family because that is super important. As I said before, if you're not good for yourself, you can't good for no one else.
Mm.
And another thing too, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot
Explain
pour
yourself. What
from
do
an
you?
empty cup.
I understand you can't pour anything out because the cup is empty. But can you elaborate on a little bit? That's kind of like a metaphor, talking point. Just, what do you mean by that?
Okay,
No.
let's say hypothetically now, your phone is dead. What do? You run to plug it in, right?
Hmm.
To charge it up.
Mhm.
So therefore, we as individuals, we have to have a modality to recharge ourselves. So recharging yourself is filling back up your cup. If
Okay.
you're going to use meditation, if you're going to church, if you're going to use prayers, you're going to use yoga, what
Whatever.
modality you're going to use to fill your cup back up or to
Mhm.
recharge back yourself up. Yep.
You got to keep filling up.
And you got to keep the clients motivated.
Yes.
And what methods do you use to do that to keep them motivated?
When a client come into us, we sit with them, we have a discussion with them. Then
Hmm.
we start to work in the areas in that individual life to keep them motivated.
Hmm.
Every day we check in with you.
Mhm.
We check in to see exactly if you're doing the things that you promised to do.
All right.
If not, we help you along. We ask you what can we do to help you to stay on track. So we keep motivating that individual all the time because we are here to help you. That's our purpose, that's our goal, is to help you to live your true essential self.
And some of the things to add to that as well, some of the things that we do, because remember, the client comes in and they have their different goals that they're working on. So what we do, like you accomplish a milestone, we write you a beautiful letter, we send you a gift, something small,
Yes.
but it's a level of incentive for the person to keep going, to keep striving. You're doing good. We are proud of you. We support you in this area. And it just a level of encouragement. They get, oh, when we send them a bouquet of flowers, oh my gosh, I didn't
You're
expect
sending
this.
me a bouquet of flowers? Oh
No,
my God.
I mean,
Oh,
males,
you got
with
to
females,
Males,
we
we
send them
normally
something
send us a
else.
bouquet of flowers.
women and men, what we normally do is that, for instance, if we're coaching a guy, no,
Mhm.
we normally do whatever area in his life that he's working on, we'll send you a book
To
so
support
you
you.
could read that book and get some help from that book
Mhm.
also.
And women, we surprise them with some
Yes.
flowers
Hmm.
or their favorite, whatever it is. As we learn about them as we go along, because we try to learn the client first as we get to know them and try to understand who this individual is. And then we take it from there. But we support you every milestone. We encourage you to create a vision board where you can look at your vision board, see what is it you're working towards, and continue. We also talk about affirmation. What are your I am? So you repeat that to yourself. I'm special. I'm beautiful. I'm good enough. I'm worthy. and repeat that, because the more you can repeat that, you become stronger. You constantly reminding yourself who you are, constantly looking at your goals and see where how far you're moving towards that, and keep walking in grace.
Mhm.
When you say walking in grace, what do you mean by that?
I mean, don't be hard on yourself.
Okay.
Don't, because sometimes we beat ourselves up if we don't get through with one thing, and we feel so bad about. No, it's okay. Show yourself some grace. Show yourself love and compassion, because you are special. You're doing the best you can.
Hmm.
Yeah. And another thing we encourage our clients to do too is to write themselves a love letter.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
interesting.
yes,
Yes.
write yourself a love letter. All the things that you love about yourself.
Mhm.
Yes.
And they have to list it, and then they give it back to you, and you evaluate it, and then what do you do?
No,
No,
no, no,
no.
no, no. That's
Don't
for
forget.
their personal self.
Mhm.
Oh, so you don't get to see this.
So when they're feeling, some days they wake up and they may not feel that great. We
Hmm.
always tell them go back to
Go
that
back
love
to that.
letter.
Mm.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
Keep
you guys,
supporting yourself.
how do you deal with people? I guess maybe you can do it with people with like anxiety issues or depression issues. That's kind of like a mental health thing. But yeah, people are depressed, like PTSD. What do you do for that? What do you recommend for that? Yeah. They're already
I,
medicated, so they're already receiving medication, but they may need a little
Right.
something else, to help them along.
We take them back to the level of meditation, the
Hmm.
level of quietness. Just be.
All
Be with
right.
yourself. Be with yourself. Don't
Mhm.
worry about tomorrow. Yes, you have your goals, you're thinking about that, but just be. Don't
Mm.
try
enjoy
to
enjoy every moment.
get to be always trying to get to the next thing. No. Stop, pause, soak in that moment. Soak that moment in and just be.
Mm.
Feel that. Feel what it feels like to just be.
Right. You got some people that would just, when they get home or there's a time of day that they just kind of lay out a mat,
Mhm.
candles on, cut the lights out, and
Yes.
do their thing. They go ahead
Just
and
be.
meditate that way.
And
So,
it's good. It's very good.
hmm.
Self-care.
Hmm. We
Hmm.
also wrote a book about an ebook about self care.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we did. We're gonna try to not try. We are looking to put that in paperback in 2024.
okay. Let me
It's
ask
an
you:
ebook now.
do you deal with people, or you probably don't, but do you deal with people the same way in the different age groups? How do you deal with people in different age groups? Because they're gonna have different kind of problems. You get a kid that comes to you that's, I don't know, 13 years old. He's depressed. You're not gonna deal with him the same way you deal with a 30-year-old that's depressed, would you?
No.
Well, if let's say like a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old come to us, and the parent, right?
Hmm.
It's the parent and the kid,
Hmm.
right? Because remember that the child is still with the parent. So both of them, we sit with them and have conversations with them, and to see the areas in the child life that needs to be addressed.
Hmm.
Because many times parents don't have no relationship with their children, right? And
Hmm.
if sometimes you find that children would start acting out, they needs attention.
Hmm.
So we have to sit with both the child and the parent and see exactly the relationship, what's happening there with the child and with the parent, and then you're able to get a guideline exactly what's happening with that little child. Yeah.
And then we
So
also advise.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Anna, go. You go first.
Yeah, I was saying. So when you talk to them, you say you talk to them together. Do you eventually, once you find out or you get to a point where you separate them, and maybe you
Hmm.
talk to the child separately, and
Right.
and
Right.
educate, and
Hmm.
educate the parent, because the parent is
Yes.
the one who has to be educated and then
Yes.
willing to accept what you're offering, and then to be more or less the support of you when you're trying to assist the child.
Hmm.
Is that the way?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Just wanted to know.
And we also encourage the parent to write the kid a letter, the child a letter,
Oh,
and just let the child know how much you love him, you appreciate him or her, and everything that the child do. You give them an incentive in writing them and said, I am proud of you, John. I'm proud of you, Sally. I am proud of you. I like what you're doing. And you create that level of trust and build a level of bond that they can come to you and approach you
Uh-huh.
with whatever is it they might be struggling with, or they can go to a therapist as well.
Mhm.
But you put a lot of spirituality in
Yes,
what you do.
yes,
That seems
yes,
what you
Kendall.
do as a health coach. And that's a pretty good thing. I think people should at least once a day get on one knee, get on two knees, or
Mhm.
whatever it is they pray to, or whatever they should give us some sort of,
Right.
especially those of us that are doing pretty well, that we don't really need a holistic coach. We need to at least give that moment of gratitude
Mhm.
and say thank you that
Mhm.
we don't have to go down that road. You know.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right.
I always like to give a moment of gratitude and thanks for what we have and what we receive. You
That's
know.
beautiful.
Yes.
That's very beautiful.
Mhm. So, what measures do you take to maintain what you do? Is confidence to keep the confidence up in your work.
Recharge.
Recharge, recharge, recharge. We spoon feed ourselves what we preach. Our
Uh-huh.
meditation, reminding ourselves who we are, and those good stuff. Even writing ourselves letters so that we can stay strong, that we can stay fulfilled. Keep cup filled, that we can support anyone who comes along to join us on this journey.
Okay. Do how do you feel comfortable doing it? Let's say via telehealth, if you want to say, but in other words, you don't have the client right there in front of you, but you need to talk to them. Are you willing to do a Zoom with them or some
We
sort
do
of,
that. Yes, we normally do that.
Yes.
Yes, we
how's
do.
that working out?
That's
Good.
working pretty
Good.
good. Yeah, it's
Good.
working pretty good.
You have enough clients that are calling you or coming to you to wanting them to have enough change in their life have a to better their lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're working on broadening to have more clients come. So if you listen to this broadcast, yes, you're welcome.
And here it is. So you broadcast in more than one place, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So how does somebody get in contact with you if they wanted to?
They go to heal.
If
Heal.
someone is looking to get
Mhm.
in contact with us, you can go to heal.me/best
That's it.
self. Heal.me/best self.
Mhm.
Or you can call us on 1-800-836-3055 or 1-800-853-0609.
And you
Just
have a nice discovery call with us.
just want to ask you another question. So what strategies do you use to measure a client's progression?
You're talking about the results.
Right, the
The
results.
results.
Because every time a client come to us, and as we see every time a client sees us, we
Mhm.
always record the sessions, so we know exactly what's happening. And when we see that client is making those baby steps towards their goals that they're looking to achieve, we are able to pinpoint it to
Mhm.
that individual and let them know that we are seeing the changes that are happening in your life, right,
Mhm.
Joan?
Yes. And then we also give them a workbook, a
Yes.
digital workbook they have that they can fill. And they sometimes come to us and say, I feel good. I never thought about this before, but this is really helping me in a different area that I'm trying to work on. This is really helping me. It keeping me motivated.
That's good. I'm just reading some stuff here. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to check some things out. Just bear with me 1 second. You can
Sure.
continue to talk if you like. You know. Okay. How much emphasis do you put on the environment as far as influencing a person's health? It seems like we live in this polluted environment now. You don't know what to eat. You don't know what to drink. You're worried about the air that you breathe. How do you deal with that?
It's very difficult to get away from that because we got to go outside, right? It's
Hmm.
pretty difficult for us to get away from that. But what we advise a person to do is that if you're outside and if that area is very polluted, wear a mask, right? If you realize there is a lot of industrial places that is giving off all of these kind of
Fumes.
fumes, we advise you wear a mask because we have to enjoy nature.
Mhm.
We are part of that. We have to enjoy nature, and being out in nature, it helps to ground you. So we advise you if you're in that environment, wear a mask. And the next question that you asked was pertaining to the foods. If you're living close to like a farmer's market,
Mhm.
you can visit your farmer's market and buy your produce from the farmer's market. And as Joan said in the initial of the conversation, read your labels.
That's a biggie.
As when we went to school, one thing, if you cannot pronounce it,
Don't buy it.
don't buy it.
I want to ask you a question. This always been on my mind. Do you think that people who eat a lot of meat are more aggressive?
It all
It all,
depends.
that's right. It all depends.
It all depends. It all depends how much meat you're consuming.
Hmm.
It all depends.
How much meat would you have to consume? I mean, because people eat the McDonald's all the time. I don't mean to bring that up, but they eat the fast foods. You know,
I,
they go to these fast food restaurants and they eat hamburger after hamburger, or they're eating pork or on a constant basis. I mean, wouldn't that kind of make them unhealthy or put them
one thing,
in the area?
one thing you talk about the meat there. What type of meat are you eating? Are you eating the grass-fed meat,
Hmm.
or are you eating the meat that has been injected?
Mm. That is
Right?
the difference.
Well, that is why you have to be very vigilant when you go to the supermarket. You got to look for your labels, what is grass-fed,
Hmm.
right?
Farm raised.
Farm raised. You have to look at all of those things when you go to the supermarket.
Mm.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, the thing is, look mostly on your fruits and your veggie. Focus on that. We don't take enough of that. We don't eat enough of that.
What
And
was
everything
what was that old saying? Eat an apple a day, keep the doctor away.
keep the doctor. Yes, exactly. And the thing is, everything is in moderation.
Mm.
Everything is in moderation. And if you can do and make other choices that is good for you, then focus on that. Because
Right.
we all are trying to do the best we can every day.
And try to focus more, as John said, try to focus more on your veggies,
Your
Right.
fruits,
right?
Right.
Focus, make your plate colorful.
polyphenols, you call it.
Color what? What do you call it?
Polyphenols.
Polyphenols.
It means
Jalapeno?
colorful. Yes.
Polyphenols is colorful. Make your plate
Red,
colorful.
red, green, yellow. Make your plate colorful. Make
The
it
rainbow.
attractive.
The
Make it
rainbow colors.
make it attractive.
Do the
And
Popeye thing, right? Eat your spinach, right?
yes.
Okay,
And
cool.
also, no, you go ahead, Kendall.
No, no. And also,
Oh, and we talk about one of the things we try to encourage our clients as well. Make sure you stay hydrated.
um,
Make sure you stay hydrated. It's very, very essential.
so
Because when
a good way to stay
somebody's
hydrated?
dehydrated,
What's a good way to stay hydrated? Because I was reading something and they were saying that milk actually is a better hydrate. It hydrates you better than water. Is that you think that's true?
There's so
and,
many
and
different
yes,
theories out there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's gonna work for you,
All right.
right? Because we always have to remember each one of us is bio individuality, right?
All right.
Something may work for you and something may not work for someone else. So whatever is working for you, that's
yeah,
it.
that's it. What's your fluid intake? What's your fluid intake? So just keep an eye on that. Maintain that.
As they would say, one month's food is another month's poison.
Yeah. Me personally, I eat when I get hungry. I don't really have a schedule.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I don't do the eat the breakfast because it's time to eat breakfast or eat lunch because it's time to eat lunch. I kind of eat when I get hungry, and that's about twice a day. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Try to keep it down, keep my weight
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
All right, ladies, we want to thank you again for coming on the show, and Miss Karen Pascal, Joan Williams, and what's the name of your book?
Your gut and you.
And self-care is intentional.
And self care is intentional. So you'll be the author of both books.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Again, thank you for coming on the show. My name is Kendall. This is genesisradio.com. We can be reached at 888-304-4401. And you guys have a good time. Peace.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe